Good evening, everyone. Myself, Arshdeep Singh, Assistant Professor, Mira Medical Institute of Nursing at Hospital Abohor. So today I'm going to start with the new topic that is decision making, and this topic relates with the one of the important subjects that is the nursing administration and the nursing. So I have chosen this topic as an important topic under this subject. So the name of the topic is decision making. Okay. So first of all, what is the definition? And before definition, I would like to tell you about that. What is a brief introduction about the decision making? What is decision making and why it is so important and why it is related with the nursing administration? So see, uh, in each and every aspect of our life, we have to take some of the decisions. I would say, many of the decisions, some of which are the minor decisions, or some of which are major decisions of our relating to our life, or any of the situations, or any of the we can say that relating to any of the part of the life. Okay, so decision making as a whole is very important. Okay, so decision making as a whole is very important. Just a second. All right. So decision making as a whole is very important because if we would talk about the nursing subject, so in nursing, the decision making is also very important, that which type of care we have to provide to the patient, what should be the decision related to the specified care, how we have to manage the things, how we can provide the knowledge, the care, the clinical care or the services to the client during the hospital, during and the community health nursing, or during the home visits, I would say. So decision making is very important in nursing or in any of the administrations, or in any organization. Okay, so decision making is a major part because it is the decision on which many of the things, like we are planning something to attain the objectives of a certain organization. So it is very important that our decision might be very accurate, so that we could be able to achieve those objectives of the goal. And if our decision or our planning based on that decision will be wrong, or it will be inaccurate, we would not be able to achieve the specified goals and objectives. Okay, so that is a brief introduction about this topic. So next is the definition. What is the definition? First of all, is the decision making is a systematic process of choosing among alternatives and putting the choice into action. So, first definition that was given by the Lancaster and Lancaster, it was that decision making is a systematic process. It is a systematic process. It follows a system that we are having the different alternatives, but among those alternatives, we have to choose the best and the one that is the best alternative. So that alternative would be our decision, and this whole process will be known as the decision making. Okay. Next, decision making is a necessary component of leadership, power, influence, authority, and delegation. Okay, so decision making is, as I have already explained, that it is a necessary component or is a major component of any of the organization, because it is the decision on which the leadership, the power, the influence, authority, and the delegation, all of the things that are also the topics of the nursing administration, all of these depends upon the decision. What type of decision are you taking? And all these things depend upon that decision. Okay, so that definition was given by John in 1993. Next is decision making process. That is the third definition, is a conscious intellectual activity involving judgment, evaluation, and selection from several alternatives. So as it is clear from the definition that uh, it is a conscious process. The person, in a conscious way, this decision is taken by a person or any of the authorized person in a conscious manner, and it involves a thorough judgment and evaluation that what would be the expected outcome if we are taking a certain specified decision, or if we are having many of the alternatives, but we are choosing the specified alternative. Okay, so from these alternatives we choose the best one, and that is our decision. So that definition was given by according to Claude. Okay, so these were the definitions relating with the decision making. Next, types of decision making. Types of decision making, there are normally four types of decision making. It includes mechanistic decision. Second is the analytical decision. Third is the judgmental decision, and last is the adaptive decision. Okay, so I would explain the different types of decisions. First is the mechanistic decision. So what is this? So mechanistic decision is, firstly, it is routine and repetitive in nature. Okay, mechanistic means to say these are the types of decisions which we are taking. These are the decisions which we have to take in a routine basis, and they are repetitive in nature. For example, it is same for the same situation. Okay, second thing, it usually occurs in a situation involving a limited number of decision variables where the outcome of each alternative is known. So I have already explained that this is a type of decision. So in this type of decision, the situation, we are having just the limited number of the alternatives, and we are known about the what are the different types of alternatives and what will be the outcome. Okay, so the outcome is specified, and it is they are taken in a routine manner, and they are repetitive in nature. And next, tools used for these kinds of decisions are charts, lists, decision tree. So there are some of the tools by which we are taking these types of decisions, that this involves the use of the chart, list, flow charts, decision tree. Okay, or a number of alternative methods. Okay, next, second is the analytical decision. Analytical decision includes, this decision helps to solve the complex problems. So mechanistic decisions were for the generalized, I would say, the general problems, but the analytical type of decisions, they help to solve the complex problems. Okay, so it involves a problem with a large number of decision variables where the outcome of each decision alternatives can be compounded. We are not known about the what should be the outcome, but we can calculate if we uh, I would say that if we can assess the outcome that would be that would come from the specified decision. So in this type of decision, this type of decision making is for the complex situations, and in this we are not sure about the results, but we can compute the results. Okay, and third, computational techniques involve linear programming and statistical analysis. So for the computation of the result, or the what should be the outcome, we have having the two of the we can say that the tools, that is linear programming and statistical analysis, by which we can assess the outcome of the analytical decisions. Third is the judgmental decision. So what is judgmental decision? Decision involves a problem with a limited number of decision variables, but the out of decision alternatives are but outcome of the decision alternatives are unknown. So you see, in the mechanistic, we are known about the outcome, but in the analytical, we don't know the outcome, but we can compute that specified outcome. But in the judgmental, we are not sure about, we know nothing about the outcome of that specific decision, that if we're taking that judgmental decision, or that specific type of decision, what should be the outcome. Okay, we are having the decision variables or the alternatives, but we are not sure about the, or we don't know about the outcome. Okay, that is the type of judgmental decision. These types of decisions are useful in marketing, investing, and to solve the personal problems. So this type of decision making can we can use this type of decision making in our personal life and in the marketing investment. So these are two of the examples by which in which we can use the judgmental decision. Okay. Next and the last is adaptive decision. So decision involving a problem with a large number of decision variables where outcomes are predictable. Okay. So in the adaptive decision, what is this? This involves the decision making in a type of a problem where the alternatives are not, the outcomes or the results are not predictable. We can't predict that if we are taking this is the problem, and if we are taking this type of decision, what should be the outcome? It can't be predicted. So that is the type of adaptive decision, depending upon the situation, because this type of decision making is done in the situations which are changing in a certain interval of time. For example, we can say that uh, if we can say that in some time the situation is changing. Okay, after 1 hour or 10 minutes or the 15 minutes, it took 10 to 15 minutes, and after that the situation again changes. Okay, so there can't be a specified decision making, so we have to use the adaptive decision making in that specified process. Okay, so such ill structured problems require contribution of the many people with diverse technical backgrounds, so that is not the work of a single person. So we need a team of the person or the people or the specialized person who are highly trained in their type of decision making. For example, in the this type of decision making is used in the research findings. Okay, so that was about the fourth type of decision making, that is adaptive decision making. So these were the types of decision making. Next, generally decisions are broadly divided into two categories. So that were the types. Next, there are some more types of the decision making. First is the routine decision, and second is the strategic decisions. Okay, so firstly, I would explain you about the routine decision. As the name indicates, these are the routine decisions that we are taking these type of decisions in our different problems to sort out the different types of problem in a routine manner, involve no extraordinary judgment, analysis, and authority. Since they are dealing less important problems, routine decision demand power to select the shortest path within the given means and ends. So these are the decisions which we are taking in day-to-day life, and the problems associated with these type of decision making are not so big. So the decisions are not so complex. It is easy to take these type of decisions. Okay, and uh, second one is the strategic decision. So this is different from the routine decisions, and it involves aim at determining or changing the means and ends of the enterprise, and they require a thorough study, analysis, and reflective thinking on the part of the administrators. Okay, so strategic means to say some of the things uh, we have to focus on the some of the main things or the different things while we are taking these type of decision, or we are sorting some of the problem relating by the use of this type of decision. So we have to use the different strategies, but for the use of those type of strategies, we should be having the knowledge of the study or the analysis and reflective thinking related to the situation. Okay, so this is I would say that the critical thinking, there is a use of the critical thinking, and that is not a routine decision. These are depending upon the certain specific situations, and it involves strategic decisions are usually taken by the top managers. So as we already know that the routine decisions can be taken by any of the persons or the employees in an enterprise or the organization, but the strategic decision and the important ones, which I would say these are taken by the some certain specified or the limited number of the person or the personnel in in an any organization, while routine decisions are made mostly by the lower level managers. So, as I have already explained, that the routine decisions are taken by the lower level authority, and the strategic decisions are taken by the higher level of authority. Okay, so that was about the general decisions. Generally, we can say that the types of decisions. Okay. Next is the decision strategies. So, what are the types of decision strategies if we are taking or we have to take a decision? So, what type of strategies we have to use when we are formulating any of the decision related to any of the situation? While if we, for example, either we are working for an organization or either we are taking decision in our personal life. Okay, so some of the points are there. First is optimizing. It is an approach in which an individual analyzes the problem, determines desired outcomes, identifies possible solutions, and predict the consequences of each action. So this is a type or the term. It is known as optimizing, and it is the type in which the person or the decision maker, uh, he or she focuses on each aspect. Okay, what is the problem? He or she does assessment or analyze the problem, determines what should be the result if I am taking this type of decision, and what are the possible solutions for that specific problem, and predict the consequences. What should be the sources of the what should be the problems that I might have to suffer when I'm taking this type of decision. Okay, and selects the course that yields the greatest amount of preferred outcomes. So optimizing is, I would say, that completely analyzing the situation and then taking the decision with least of the input, and with I would say that the output should be the maximum. Okay. Second is the satisfying. A decision should be a satisfying one. It is an approach whereby an individual chooses a problem solution and then selects best of the remaining options. That means that a decision maker should be satisfied with what type of decision he or she is taking. Okay, so that should be satisfying. Next is mixed scanning, making a decision that satisfies to remove least promising solutions and then selects best of the remaining options. That means if we are having a number of alternatives, so firstly we should focus on all the alternatives. Then from these alternatives we have to shortlist some of the alternatives that we can use in our decision making. That if we are using this type of these type of alternatives, so we can I would say that from these shortlisted alternatives, we have to choose the best one, that is known as the mixed scanning. Okay. Next is opportunistic, making a decision for the solution chosen by the problem identifier. Okay. So what is this? Making a decision for the solution chosen by the problem identifier. So according to situation, I would say that the uh, like the problem, uh, uh, what is the problem? So depending upon that problem we have to take that decision, or we have to uh, we have to gain the opportunity. We have to wait for the opportunity that we should get a single opportunity that we can sort out our problem in a very satisfied and a comfortable manner. So that type is the opportunistic. Next is do nothing, taking decision after waiting for the storm to pass. Or sometimes we don't take any of the decisions because if we are taking some of the decision or any of the decision, we have to lose something or many of the things, or we in some situation we are getting nothing. So doing nothing is sometimes it's okay to do nothing. Okay. Next is eliminate critical limiting factor, making a decision by removing most powerful obstacle to success. So that is a simple thing, I would say. In our day-to-day life we have to deal with that factor, that sometimes we have to take the decision by when we are taking a decision. So we always focus on the what is the main barrier or what is the main problem relating with that specific thing. Okay. So we take the decision by focusing on the what is the main barrier, and by removing that barrier we are taking that decision. So that is also a strategy that we can use while making any of the decision. Next is the maxima, an optimistic approach in which, while assuming the highest possible payoff from use of any action, the individual chooses that action alternative that will yield the largest payoff. So that is, it is clear from the term maxima. Maximum is to say the alternative or the decision strategy which would give us the maximum results or the outcomes. Okay. So that is the point in which it is written that if many of the alternatives are we are having the different or the many of the alternatives, so we should choose that specific alternative from all of them, by the use of which in the specific decision making process we would be able to gain the highest possible level of the benefit of the result. Okay, so that is maximum. Next is mini regret, an approach designed to minimize the surprise resulting from any action decision by selecting the action alternative that will yield a result midway between the most desired and the least desired outcome. So mini regret means what we mean by the term mini regret. That means we are not in the situation. if we are not sure about that, if I am taking this type of decision, so what should be the result? So from all the available alternatives, the mini regret suggests us that we should take that specific type of decision. For example, one thing I would like to explain that if, for example, if we are facing a problem in which we think that we have to face a lot of the loss, okay, or the results will be minimum. So we should always choose that specific alternative by the use of which we should always be in the profit or loss statement. That means we should get an average result, not the best one, not the least one. So that is the mini regret. We should not regret with we should not face any of the regret that I have chosen this decision, or I have taken this decision and now I am facing the loss. Okay, so alternative, the chosen alternative must be always be that alternative by the use of which we should be gaining at least the average results which we want to achieve. Okay, next is the precautionary. That means making a decision by choosing the action that will maximize gain of minimizing loss regardless of the opponent's actions. Okay, so precautionary means to say always choose that type of decision by the use of which we should always safeguard ourselves in any of the situation, that we should not face any of the losses, but we should always be having some profit if we are taking some decision, and loss should be minimized. Okay, so that is the precautionary one strategy that we have to use. Okay, next one is evolutionary. Evolutionary, while taking a decision, individual has to make series of the small changes leading towards goal. Okay? So evolutionary means in a decision, uh, if while taking a decision, individual has to make series of small changes leading towards goals. Evolutionary means sometimes we have to take some of the decision to change something, not always to get some of the benefits, but we have sometimes we have to change something. For example, if we are working in an organization or in an institution or an hospital, we have to change some of the settings or the some of the we would say that the working of the personnel. Okay, so that will be an evolutionary change. So that type of change would be possible if we are taking the evolutionary type of decision making. It is based on the assumption that subordinates can better adjust to a series of the small changes than a quantum leap. So always make small changes, not a big one. Okay, by making the simple changes, you can make your subordinates be able to work in an efficient manner. Okay, and last is chameleon. Taking a decision by making vague plan adjusted to changing circumstances. It consists of forming management decision in general terms so that they can be interpreted differently at different times. Okay, so there should be some of the plans. That means if you are taking some of the decision, the persons on whom you are implementing those type of decision, they must be ready to change themselves or the circumstances by or that your decision making must be comfortable with the changing some circumstances, so that you should be able to get the sum of the results. Okay, so that is chameleon. Next is the factors affecting decision making. So what are the various factors that always affect the decision making? So there are two types of factors. First one is the internal factor and second is the internal external factors. So first one is the internal factors. So it includes decision makers physical and emotional status. So some of the decision makers, depending on the physical and the mental dimension, they can be physically unfit or physically fit, or emotionally unfit or emotionally fit. Okay, so depending upon their health status, physical or emotional status, they always take their decisions. Okay, next is the personal characteristics and the values. It depends upon the decision maker what he or she thinks, and then he or she takes that decision. Next is the past experience and interest. If the decision maker is having the past experience, that then he or she might be understood that or he or she must be experienced or having the knowledge that how a best alternative of the decision can be taken. So that would be an effective way and a good thing, that if our decision maker is having a past experience, if that experience is very good, the decision making will be very good, and if the past experience is bad, then he or she must change that specific decision. Okay, next is knowledge and attitude. It is very important part of the factor. If the decision maker is having no knowledge or is having negative attitude, there would be always the chance that that specific decision would be a wrong one. Next is self-awareness and courage. Totally depends upon the decision maker's self-awareness and its courage, that what type of decision he or she is taking. If they are not motivated by themselves, or they are not aware about the situation, they might take the wrong decision. Next is energy and creativity. It is very important in decision making. If you are not energetic, you are just doing a formality or any of the things, the decision would be wrong. And next is resistance to change. Sometimes, or many of the times, for example, if you are changing something, or making a decision to change the working of your subordinates, it is quite possible that your subordinates would not uh, want any of the change. They would like to work in a manner like they are doing. So resistance to change can be a factor or an obstacle. Okay, and next is the sensitivity and flexibility. They should also be always be the sensitivity or the assessment by the decision maker, and this should always be the flexibility in the decision making. If there is no flexibility, the decision can any time, that decision can be wrong. Okay, so these were the internal factors. Next are the external factors. What are the external factors? Cultural environment. Second is the philosophical environment. So cultural environment is also a factor that the I would say that the culture of that organization, okay, that also affects the decision making. Philosophical environment. So there is different philosophy of the different organization, or it might be the professional one or the personal one. The decision maker might be having its own philosophical philosophy or its own thinking, or depending upon that, he or she would take the decision. So that might affect the decision making. Next is the social background. So it is quite obvious that the type of the background from which you are, that can affect your decision making. Next is the time, situation, or the time at which you are taking that specific decision. For example, if you are in a good situation, you might always be taking that best decision. But if you are in a problematic situation, it is always its risk that you can take any of the bad decisions or the wrong decisions. Next, poor communication. Always a poor reporting, or fake reporting, or the reporting that is recording and reporting that is not done in a quite good manner, that can lead to, that means that is a poor communication example of the poor communication, and that can lead to the a wrong decision. But if it this thing is done in a good manner, that can result in a best decision making. Next is cooperation. It is required, because not a single person can take that decision, because it depends upon the different persons at how a single decision can be made. And last, it's a coordination. It is quite obvious that in an organization, if we are running an organization, it is always the need of the coordination. Not even a single person can do all the things. Okay, so in decision making, your coordination, if your team is not coordinating with you when you are taking the decision, so your decision is of no value. So there should be the need of the coordination. Okay, next is steps in decision making. So what are the various steps that by on the basis of which we are taking the decision? What is the process of the decision making? So it involves 6 steps. First is, it is like the nursing process: assessment, diagnosing, planning, implementation, and evaluation. Likewise, it is the process of the decision making, or the steps of the decision making. It includes, first is making the diagnosis, second is analyzing the problem, third is searching alternative solutions, fourth is selecting best possible solution, and fifth is putting the decision into effect. That I would relate it with the implementation in the nursing process phase. And last is the following up of the decision, or evaluating, like we are doing, we always do in the nursing process. Okay, so first of all is the making the diagnosis. So it is a simple thing, making the diagnosis. That is, what is the actual problem, and what are the various alternatives we are having to solve that specific problem, or what type of decision is required by the situation that we have to take. So the first step is determine what the real problem is, and if the problem is not ascertained correctly at the beginning, money and effort spent on the decision making will be wasted. So it is obvious that firstly we have to make a diagnosis of the problem. What is the actual diagnosis? What is the problem? For what we are making a decision? Okay, if we are having a problem, or if we are unable to assess or analyze that specific problem, or if we I would say that in the we are wrongly analyzing the problem. So there would be the I would say that the loss of the money, or there will be the wastage of the money, effort, and the time of the manpower. Okay, so that for first step, that includes the making the diagnosis in an efficient and effective manner. Okay, next is analyzing the problem. So now we know that what is the diagnosis, or what is the exact problem. Next, we will interpret that what is the actual problem. Now we will understand the problem, that this is the problem, how we have to deal with that specific problem. The problem should be thoroughly analyzed to find out the adequate background information. So then we would get the background information and the data relating to that situation. So all the data, we will calculate each and every data, and this analysis may provide the manager with some revealing circumstances that will help him to gain an insight into the problem. So by analyzing the problem, we will be known to each and every aspect of that specific problem, and the associated alternatives that we can choose for our decision making. So that is about the analyzing the problem. Okay, next is searching alternative solutions. So now we have the diagnosis, what is the actual problem. Now we have to search for the alternative solutions. So after analyzing the problem, attempts are made to find alternative solutions to the problem. In the absence of the alternative, decision making process will become okay, it will become complex. Okay, so we would start for searching the different type of alternatives, and from the next point will be selecting best possible solution. So we have now searched for the different types of alternative of the solutions, and next point will be, from these alternative solutions we will find the best, on which less time, less money, and more results we will be getting the more results. Okay, so that would be the selecting best possible solution. It includes selection of the one best course of action among the several alternatives developed, require an ability to draw distinctions between tangible and intangible factors, as well as facts and guesses. So now we are having the choices for the alternatives, and from these choices we have to select the best one. But before selecting the best one, we have to um, assess that alternative, that what should be the result if we are using that alternative as a decision making, as alternative for the decision making. So by assessing all these things, then we would be taking the decision. Next, putting the decision into effort. So after the selection of the alternative, we will take the decision, and after that we will implement that decision. And decision can be made effective through the action of the other people. In order to overcome the opposing on the part of employees, managers can make three important preparations: communications of the decision, securing employee acceptance, and the timing of the decision. So after the implementation, we have to focus on three things: communication of the decision. If we are taking a decision in an organization, we have to communicate it with the other employees. Next, securing employee acceptance, and we must ensure that all the employees should accept that type of decision, because if they will accept that decision, then only we can change something. Okay, and last, the timing of the decision. It should be always be focused that each and every decision must be taken on time, not before and not after of the passing of the any of the situation. And last is the follow up the decision. What decision you have taken, what were the expected outcome, and what we have uh, got from that specific decision making. So we have to watch for that. Okay, so after the implementation of the decision, we have to get an evaluation. We have to assess the evaluation. As a safeguard against the incorrect decision, makers are required to a system of follow-up care of the decision so as to modify them at the earliest. So after evaluation, if we come to know that the decision taken was the best of our choice and we are getting the best result, that is okay. But if we are not getting the results, the expected outcomes of the results, then we have to modify our decision. Okay, so that was about the follow-up of the decision. Okay, so that was all about today's topic. So in today's topic, I have told you about the what is decision making, its definition, its types, and next it was the strategies, different type of strategies that we can use in decision making. And last one was the steps in the process of the decision making. Okay, so that was all about today's topic, and next week we will again meet with a new topic with new energy. Okay, so stay connected with us. Thank you very much, everyone. So I will meet with you in the next session. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.